Oh, say, can you see? Well, I can see the calendar saying that Veterans Day is upon us. So put your hand over your heart and let's find some patriotic weird in today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. America, land of the free and home of the weird. Veterans fought for and paid for our freedom and continue to do so to this day. I have about 6 relatives that I can think of who have served in the military. Now, how many are in your family? Let me know down in the comments so I can say thanks. All right, let's get into it. First, the things we all need to know. Veterans Day, celebrated on November 11th each year in the United States, is a day dedicated to honoring and expressing gratitude to all military veterans for their service and sacrifice. It is a federal holiday and is usually marked by parades, Veterans Day sales, and barbecues. It is a time for the nation to come together and show appreciation for those who have served in the U.S. military. Now, while that's a tall order to pull off in the current political climate, the majority of people, the intent is there. Now, the specific events and activities can vary from place to place, but the overarching theme is one of respect, honor, and gratitude for the service of veterans. Now, weird thing number 5. Veterans Day was not the first choice, name-wise. It was originally known as Armistice Day. Veterans Day was established on November 11, 1919, to commemorate the armistice that ended World War I on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. It was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. The name was changed to Veterans Day to honor all U.S. military veterans, not just those who served in World War I. Weird thing number 4. Veteran humor. Oftentimes, those who have lived under great stress, like soldiers, use humor as a way to lighten the mood. Veteran humor seems to fall into categories. There are a lot of jokes and puns related to the military, such as, why did the Scarecrow join the military? Because he was outstanding in his field. I'm going to leave that one there. Veterans and active duty members often share humorous stories about the quirks and idiosyncrasies of military life, like the challenges of using military acronyms and navigating the sometimes insanely baffling bureaucracy of the military. And then, of course, the ever-present MRE jokes. Meals ready to eat, which are the C rations of the modern day. They're a staple of military food rations, and there are numerous jokes and humorous anecdotes about their taste, contents, and reputation. And just a heads up, they're not regarded as fine cuisine. Weird thing number 3. Veterans Affairs. While the idea of Veterans Day is generally a very positive one, it often highlights the negative side of Veterans Affairs. Many veterans carry the burden of psychological trauma, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which can make Veterans Day a difficult and emotional time for them. Unmet needs. Some veterans face challenges in accessing to health care, mental health support, and other services they need, leading to concerns about unmet needs within the veteran community. A significant number of veterans experience homelessness, which is a persistent issue in the United States, especially in the last decade. Insufficient support. Some veterans struggle with the transition to military life, finding it challenging to secure employment, education, other support services. Veterans Day can underscore the need for better support and resources for veterans during this transition. Weird thing number 2. Veterans Day is very ceremonial. Many cities and communities across the United States organize Veterans Day parades. These parades often feature veterans, active duty military personnel, military vehicles, Air Force flybys, marching bands, patriotic displays. Various ceremonies take place at military memorials, cemeteries, and other locations to pay tribute to the veterans. Wreaths are often laid at memorials, and a moment of silence is usually observed. At many public institutions, government buildings, and schools, the American flag is raised to full staff at the beginning of the day, then lowered to half staff to honor veterans who have passed away, and it's raised back to full staff at the end of the day. And while Veterans Day is not to be confused with Memorial Day, it's still something that happens pretty much on both days. The President of the United States also traditionally participates in various Veterans Day activities, including a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. And finally, weird thing number 1, veterans groups. The United States is home to numerous veterans organizations and advocacy groups dedicated to serving and supporting veterans, active duty military personnel, and their families. These organizations provide various services such as assistance with benefits, advocacy, mental health support, job placement, and community outreach. And there are some that really do a great job of creating a sense of community where they can feel that they belong. Now, while there are dozens of groups, this is just a sampling, and please forgive if I left a group out since they all deserve the recognition. Now, there is the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV, Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, IAVA, Wounded Warrior Project, also known as the WWP, Vietnam Veterans of America, VVA, AMVETS for American Veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, PVA, Team Red, White, and Blue, which is Team RWB, Fisher House Foundation, Marine Corps League, Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, CGMA. To sum it up, no matter what their reason was for serving, either they were drafted or freely enlisted, no matter your political views, Veterans Day is simply a day for saying thank you to the people who've risked their lives so that we can enjoy ours. Thank you for your service. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you liked, loved, or hated it, let's argue about it in the comments. And for those still watching, today's code word is liberty. Thank you much. Have a great night.